You are listening to the national radio broadcast of Messenger Elijah Muhammad Propagation Society. Your principal speaker is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad is the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality for the American so-called Negroes. And now, we have the pleasure of presenting to you the last messenger of Allah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
I'm not on this work during this mission of myself. It is Allah who has chosen me to do this work, and I rely solely upon Him.
Mm-hmm.
My trust is in Him. And if He gives me up to the hand of some wicked one, then I am still satisfied. So long as it pleases Allah. I do not run, nor am I afraid of the consequence.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I'm wishing to do is to deliver the truth to my people. And my life is in the hands of Him who missioned me. And I'm satisfied.
I notice that you have quite a few, I should say more than adequate protection. What about your conference on Saturday? You're having an annual conference, and I think it will be Saturday and Sunday, if I remember correctly, sir.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Do you intend to call that conference off?
No, by no means.
Do you think that anyone might try to come in and dynamite the place?
It don't make any difference with us what anyone have in mind to do against us with evil. We have our trust in Allah, and when we make a promise like that, we do not break it. The only thing make us break it, it will be death.
One other question, sir. I notice that you do not teach violence. Do you teach passive resistance?
No. We don't teach the kind of a passive resistance. Let us make that clear. We don't teach violence. This is known by any Muslim throughout the Muslim world. We are not to be the aggressor.
But if somebody jumps on you...
But if anyone attacks us, we will try in the name of Allah to protect ourselves. But we will never be the attacker ourselves.
Now, would you hold on a moment, sir, while I make an announcement, please?
Yes.
This is the hotline, ladies and gentlemen. Wesley South is your host. Tonight we are discussing, we have as our guest the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the spiritual leader of Muslims here in Chicago. And our telephone number is 847-2602. I will ask Mr. Muhammad other questions, but I think I will wait just for a few moments. I was about to have a commercial, but we'll wait here and go back to Mr. Muhammad. Mr. Muhammad, one other question. You have been said for many times you're supposed to be... Well, do you hate white people?
Do I hate white people?
Yes, sir.
I will say, as I have always said, they could have been any color they wanted. God wanted to make them. They could have been blue, green, yellow, any color. It is not so much as the color. It is the characteristic, the nature of the person. The race that you refer to is created, or rather made, just in the opposite of you and me. We are the original people, and these people are a people from us, and therefore their father was not one that made his people in the nature of the original. It's just the opposite. He made a people wicked. And with wicked ideas. And with murder for that which they came from. The original darker people, or black people. This they cannot help. This is the mistake that we make now. in trying to force upon them that which by nature they are not. They was not created for righteousness. And therefore they cannot do righteousness. They cannot do good by us because they was made as they are, to oppose good.
Well, do you teach race hate?
Race hate. No, I do not teach race hate. I teach truth. This is one mistake, rather a false charge that has been against me for over 30 years.
Well, I'll ask you this then. If you refer to white people as the devil,
this is not saying, just referring to them as that. They are that. The thing of it is that when we said devil, it means a wicked person. And they are that because by nature they were made that. This is truth. You can't call truth hate. When we say that you are a member of the black nation, you are that. Mm-hmm. And that is not teaching hate. We're just telling the world who you are. And this is not to be considered hatred.
How would you go about proving that they are the devil?
By that which God has given to us, this very nature in which they were created in. They were made, or rather grafted from the black people. And through the grafting, the nation was taught to tell other than the truth to the mother giving birth to the black baby and brown baby. And this brought other than the truth into the very baby that is now being grafted out of black. That is known and is written in the Bible, mentioned in the words of Jesus, as the Bible gives it. Around John the 8th and 4th, that they are the children of the devil, and that they can't do anything else. You can't change their nature unless that you regraft them.
Now, one other question. I wonder if you would just tell us, could you tell us very briefly, what is Islam?
Islam is an Arab word meaning submission.
Submission?
Yes, submission to the will of God.
And what is a Muslim?
A Muslim is one who has submitted himself, a righteous person,
you know,
to the will of God.
You know, now you live next door, if I remember correctly, to a priest on one side of it. I think there are quite a few priests live on the north side of you. And there's a Negro preacher who lives on the south side of you, or it might be the other way around. And you have been pictured as a man of violence. I wonder if you could, and you've lived together there for 10 years. Could you explain why you are known as a man of violence?
My history is before the world, and especially here in Chicago for the last, now, around near 30 years. And since I've been in Chicago, my history is the thing that anyone should look at and see whether that these charges are not. It's true. Mm-hmm. They're not true. We have been here in Chicago ever since 1934. Now soon will be 31 years ago. And there is nothing that we have done here to bear no such name. We have not attacked anyone. We have been attacked once or twice here. I think the first time was in 35. We're not the people to attack no one. We don't create no violence. We're over here on 53rd Street and Greenwood. And we came from 43rd Street there. And we used to be on 51st and Michigan Avenue. Mm-hmm. Let the people that make such charges prove that these charges is true. One other record of us doing anything like violence.
Yes, sir. Well, now, there's another thing I'd like to know, and that is, I think our listeners would like also to know. You know, you have been talking about a separate state, and if you can't have a full freedom, now I'd like to know, do you mean this is what you want, or would you prefer to have full? If we had integration, Would you go for this, or do you prefer a separate state?
I'm glad you asked that. Due to the fact that for the last 4 centuries that 300 of those years were spent in servitude slavery without the knowledge of letters, even the spirit of the letter. They knew nothing for around 300 years. We were deprived of school. We were deprived of religion, or religious teaching by the white man. And we were deprived of everything. But what the white man wanted us to be, and that was blind, deaf, and dumb to the knowledge of civilization. Especially his kind and our kind. Therefore, today, in this modern time, we are still begging for the white man to give us equal justice. This is true. And he declined to do so. We are suffering in the streets and on the highways that the blows from his hand and bullets from his gun, and there's nothing to it, or just another dead Negro, or a beaten Negro, or a beaten Negro woman. This we have now become to get sick of. We are tired of such life. We think now, since that we have gotten a little schooling from the white man's, or through the white man's educational system, that he says we are free. And that this little schooling that we have, and I think some of it is very good, I should not refer to it as a little, because we have some very fine professional people and educators, and we cannot refer to them, I should say, lightly. We have a lot of technicians in this government that is very capable of starting a government for their people. And that since we can't get along in peace, we should be separated. As we see Reverend Martin Luther King today, he's trying to get vote for the Southern so-called Negro. This, if he would be successful, who are the Southern Negro going to vote for? None other than the very people that is now kicking him around. We cannot expect to take the reins of this government and rule this people or this country. 20 million people or 22 million people of our kind who have suffered through our fathers, slaves, and has been subdued and spoiled by the slave master and his children. Should not even think about begging for no such thing as just a vote. We should beg to leave this people. We should beg for some of this earth that we can call our own. We can never be a nation as long as we bow to be a subject people.
Well, I'd like to ask you another question. You know, it brings to my mind about the United Nations. There are 110 or maybe 115, I don't know what the count is now, different nations in the United Nations. They have different religious views and different political backgrounds, and they're very dissimilar. But they try to get together on their similarities and work out a solution on the similarities that they have. Maybe they can sit down to the conference table. Why don't you and Dr. Martin Luther King and Roy Wilkins and James Farmer and the other civil rights leaders get together and try to solve this problem together?
Well, that hardly can be done as long as the men that you mentioned by name. That's not clear for the people, the mass. Pardon me. Achieving anything like an independent move from the slave master's children. We cannot get together like that until we see eye to eye the future of our people. We have to love our people. We have to have that in our heart. We have to love for them a good future, wherein that they can live in peace and be a prosperous nation like all other nations. I have tried unsuccessfully to talk with this particular people that you referred to, but they would like employment here for their people and a house in the section of the white people with them, and they would like intermarriage with them. This is very, very far from getting on the road for a good future for our people. A person today, after 100 years up from slavery, still desire that the slave master's children seek prosperity, seek the need or necessity for their people like the slave master did. Is far from being up with the modern time, change of time that is now wrapping on every dark man's door in America and in the world.
Well, do you
not hope for the white man to carve out a future for us? We cannot hope for the white man to continue to go and take the earth for the necessities of our life.
Do you foresee...
Oh,
I'm sorry, sir.
We can't do it.
Do you foresee yourself and Dr. King and Mr. Wilkins, as I said, I think you'll be coming together in the next year or so?
I'm not sure of that. I can't say that truthfully. These men could refuse indefinitely to come, to have a conference with me.
Yes, sir.
On the future of our people. They could refuse for indefinite time, I would say.
Well, I'm going to have to cut you off.
Say this.
Yes, sir.
That according to the time, that within the next 2 years, we will have to come to some kind of agreement or shut up.
One last question before we have a station break and then go to the telephone. And that is, could you tell us how many followers that you have in your I don't know, what do you call it, organization or your...
No, this is not called an organization. I will try and explain this.
Yes, sir.
This is the uniting of our people back onto their own kind.
Yes, sir. Well, how many are...
organization is referred to in the biblical histories, or prophesy, I should say, in Quran, as the resurrection of the dead.
How many followers do you have then, sir?
I estimate them. I don't know myself. If I would say so, I would tell other than the truth.
I understand, but approximately.
But I estimate them something like between 200,000 and 300,000.
200,000 and 300,000.
Yes, sir. Throughout the country.
Well, now, if you hold on, sir, we're going to have a station identification.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wesley South, the hotline. Our guest tonight is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, spiritual leader of a group of Muslims who adhere to his teaching of race pride. And as you've heard him give the explanation of what he is teaching. Our telephone number is 847-2602. That's 847-2602. Please make your comments brief and to the point, and have your radios turned off.
You're listening to WVON Cicero.
So we're back on the air, ladies and gentlemen. Wesley South is your host, and now we have our first caller. This is the hotline.
Hello.
Yes, sir?
Yeah, this morning I'd like to make a comment to Mr. Mohammed.
You'll have to speak a little louder. Go right ahead.
Yes. I want to say, Mr. Mohammed, about Malcolm. I think if Malcolm had never broke from the organization, I think he probably might have been living today. But since he did, I think this is somewhat where the difference come in. And I hear them say he had something like 200,000 or 300,000 people, but there are 20 million Negroes in this country. And I think most of the Negroes doesn't condone the program which he's functioning. Now, he's speaking of Martin Luther King. We ain't no violence. And he doesn't know that, he should know that hatred comes when you have one organization like the Muslims, or like the Ku Klux Klan, or like the Nazis we have here. All those things break hate. He may not speak it direct, but Jesus Christ is in the house, and if you got fire in the house, it's bound to break loose and burn down, and that's what he's doing. And I'm so proud that the Negroes today hadn't been to the point where we had 8 or 10 million Negroes participating in his organization, and I don't think there ever will be. But I think down the way somewhere he should change his methods of thinking.
All right. Did you have Mr. Mohammed, did you have a comment?
No, we'll never...
Just a second, sir. Let Mr. Mohammed speak, please.
I would like to ask the gentleman, what does he consider hate that I'm teaching?
Did you hear the question, sir?
Yes.
Go right ahead and answer.
Well, if you go to teach organizations such as like the white Ku Klux Klan, it's just about the same. They want everything to stay white. He wants everything to stay black. So you're bound to hate someone. And when you start to hate it, when you have this, you're not going to have freedom. You're going to have fiction all the time. And this way, fiction is coming. It come in the organization of the Ku Klux Klans and all the other clans.
All right, let him...
And now it's beginning to come in his organization. So if we're going to teach this year, we're not going to be in the police. They are not going to be in the battle of the Ku Klux Klan. They're going to have assassinations. They're going to kill people left and right. And this is just the beginning.
All right, Mr. Mohammed.
And do you call a people that want to keep and maintain their own racial pride as teaching hate? Do you call that hate when a person wants to keep their own race pure? I do not think that we are teaching hate when we said that we want to keep our own race pure and without the strange blood of other nations.
All right. Thank you very much for calling, sir.
Thank you.
Good night. This is the Hotline, ladies and gentlemen. Wesley South is your host. Our guest tonight is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Well, we're back on the air, ladies and gentlemen. Wesley South is your host. We're having a little trouble with our electronic equipment. The last call is, if he would hang up his line, I don't know whether he did or not, we can't release it, so we don't know what is happening. Mr. Mohammed?
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone else on here?
No.
No, I don't hear anyone either. So I'll have to ask you another question. And that is, until she tries to solve this. We were talking, I wonder if you would tell us how you became a Muslim and how you became a messenger. I mean...
Well, that was in the choice of he that, Allah rather, I should say, came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. In fact, about it...
Who was that, Mr. Farad, you say? Did you say Farad Muhammad?
Farad Muhammad.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Yes, sir. In fact, about it, he has made it clear that we all are Muslims. Muslims means a person who is by nature belonging to a divine family. And we are that people. By nature, we are the righteous. But getting lost and following other than righteous has caused us to be a long ways, we call it astray, from actual self. This was done through the preachers of our fathers by the white American people from our native land and people some 400 years ago. And since that the people of the earth was given to be subjects for the white race for 6,000 years, it has destroyed the black man, practically.
Well, I wonder if you'd tell us who is Mr. Farad.
Mr. Farad Muhammad is the one that was predicted to come from the east, seeking the lost members of the original people who have got have gotten lost.
Did he come here to this country?
He came to this country in 1930.
1930. Uh-huh. And where is he now?
Well, personally, visible, I could not tell you. But spiritually, he's always with me. This is the thing that the lost members of the original people should hear, rather have a clear knowledge of before there can be any final judgment. That is the knowledge of themselves and the knowledge of others. This man is the one that it was predicted that he would teach us the knowledge of self and others. And this he has been doing for the last now 34 years. And we must remember that if there is no but we are members of that people and has been dead to the knowledge of our membership for the past 400 years, or maybe for 5,000 years. As most of the darker people on the earth today lost the knowledge of themselves for the last 4,000 or 5,000 years. And now they are awakening to the knowledge that they are the original people of the earth, and that the earth actually belongs to the black man. This is due to the termination of the rule and time of the white race. Everything is coming up after us according to the prophesy of the prophets of God that would take place in this time.
Mr. Muhammad, there's another question. We know there are some people who say that if they leave I was reading this in one of the magazines here, that if they leave your move, well, desert your teachings, I guess is the word I should say, that
would be better.
Yes, sir.
Just say that. Teaching, because it's actually, as I first said,
yes,
this is a joining on again with your own. This is the resurrection of the mental dead people.
Well, let's say that if they do this, that they are threatened, they are beaten. Would you comment on that, please?
This is a trial. It is given that we go through trials by those who have been our master. And pulling away from them, they are permitted divinely to try you. And the Holy One teaches us, will you be let alone with just saying you believe and not be tried? And the devils, the Holy One said, is me. And God has given them the privilege to try everyone that leaves them and returns to God.
Now we're going to stop here because ordinarily, ladies and gentlemen, we do not play one of the commercials twice, but we're going to try it again tonight and play another milk from Joe Louis. We'll be right back immediately after this commercial. Well, we're back on the air, ladies and gentlemen, and we want to say a very bad word for the telephone company. We were depending on letting you come in and speak with Mr. Mohammed tonight, but for some unknown reason, they're shaking their head and we are unable to disconnect that very first call that we had. It's not our fault. It's the telephone company's fault. They came here, they looked at the console, they say your conference call is ready to operate. On our very first call, it went kaplooey. And this is one of the things that we say we are sorry, but it's beyond our control. So the telephone company is trying to rectify it down at their central office. This is one reason we've had these extra commercials on tonight, trying to talk with them. But unfortunately, at this point, they say they may get it done within the next 2 or 3 minutes. But if they don't, we will just see what will happen. Now, let's get back to Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Mohammed, we have about 15 more minutes here. And I'd like you to tell me something, if you would, about the different businesses that you have. I understand that you feel that, well, that Negroes should have their own economy. Do you mean a segregated economy?
Yes, we cannot hardly do too much in building up an economy system for the so-called American Negro under the economy system of the white man.
Mm-hmm.
But we can go a long ways towards doing away with so much waste, extravagance among people who have never been used to anything like luxury. And as soon as they get a chance to enjoy a little, he goes to the extreme.
Uh-huh.
Wastes all of his wealth, rather income, trying to compete with his master. And this keeps us a slave to the master. We should try first to build up an economical system that would force or compel us to keep away from waste and build up a bank of our own to help guard ourselves against poverty and want.
Well, sir, what is the... I noticed something every time you say something about a Negro, you say so-called Negro.
He is a so-called, he's not a Negro. There is no such thing as a race of people on this earth that can be called a Negro and be justified in giving them such names.
Mm-hmm.
We are the members of the aboriginal people of the earth. And from a tribe, God taught me, by the name of Shabazz, which took place about 50,000 years ago, from a dissatisfied scientist.
Uh-huh.
And therefore, we cannot call ourselves Negroes, since the black nation here in Africa don't call themselves Negroes. That's where our fathers came from.
Well, do you think that, would you prefer taking the Negroes back to, well, the so-called Negro back to Africa, or would you, when you're asking for a separate state, or would you want to have a separate state within the United States?
Here is the alternative. Right there is the place divinely appointed that we should return to. That is to our native land. That's our native land and people.
Mm-hmm.
We should be returning to them. And that we can live with them, but we have to have their religion. We can't live among the people of Islam, as the West call them, Mohammedans, unless that we believe in Allah and believe in the
For more information on the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you may contact us on the World Wide Web at www.memps.com. That's www.memps.com. Or you may call for a free catalog at area code 770-907-2212. Thank you very much for your support, and may the peace and blessings of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, be with you in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. As-salamu alaikum.